Well, after an extreme cold snap and then a thaw, that thaw brought me out here to see did anything survive in here, and boy, it does not look good. I've got wilted lettuce and mustard greens. I don't know. We'll see if they'll pop up from there. I do have a little bit of garlic left, but that's not the case for everywhere in the garden. Most of my greens bit the dust. This is part of experimenting, but I did have some root crops make it. Let's take a look, and then we're going to get to work. It was really windy the other day, and this must have fallen out of the pine tree, and it's always cool to see a bird's nest. Amazing how they make that. Well, here are some of the last things that we planted in the fall, these leeks, and they're still here, along with some mustard greens and some of these little edible weeds. Usually, that cold frame, though, is my most successful way to keep things going over the winter, and as I said, it's just an experiment. But we do have something that's been a success for this cold winter, and we'll take a look at that next. This is tasty. Well, these hanging baskets have been a really fun experiment for the winter. I bought them a couple years ago, and we put flowers in here during the season, but I wondered if they could last the winter, if this ivy was tough enough. Usually I put them in the greenhouse, but through the coldest part of the winter, they have survived. And what I love about this is I'm going to use ivy more and more in my containers as what we call the spiller. You know, you got a thriller in the middle, then a filler and a spiller. And today's big job is going to be making more plants by taking cuttings of this ivy. And we'll be in the greenhouse where it's warm. Well, it's a little bit warmer here in the greenhouse. This is an unheated greenhouse, but it's okay. Great winter job is taking cuttings, and it's not just ivy. There's all sorts of other plants. Take a look online. You'll find some other things if you want to make more plants. But again, the idea for me is going to be this ivy is going to be a great perennial plant for containers. I won't have to keep planting a different spiller. Now, I put all sorts of different plants, annuals with it, maybe perennials, we'll see. And there's nothing to this. Ivy roots really easily. And so we just go down to the end of the plant. We take a little bit of that cutting. We take these bottom leaves off. And now I have something here. This is called root tone. And I probably wouldn't even need this because they root so well, but it just gives me a little boost, and I'll just put it right on the end there. And I've got some lightly moistened planting soil here. Sometimes I use vermiculite for cuttings, but again, for ivy, you know, they root really easily. So I'm just going to go through the plant, kind of cut off the ends and make myself lots of cuttings. And then after that, we'll cover the whole thing with plastic and we'll be done. And I'm going to actually have this in a place where it's going to be about 60, 70 degrees, not out here in the greenhouse, but this is a good place to do a dirty job like this. It's important that we keep them humid. That's what helps them root. We're just going to cover it with a plastic bag, dry cleaner bag, and I'll take it somewhere warm. And we're done. In about 3 weeks, I will take this plastic bag off. I'll tug on them. If they resist, that means they've rooted, and I've made lots of more ivy plants. And I think I actually might cut this up a little bit more, make a few more of these, and can't wait till spring. All right, let's finish up. Be sure to check me out online. Friend me on Facebook. Connect with me on Instagram or Twitter. But check out the website for lots of great gardening information. And that's also where you can become a member of my Seed of the Month Club. We are having so much fun there. Now, until next week, it's time for some hot cocoa. We'll see you then. Whew. Tune in this Friday to In the Garden. I'm going to show you how to make more of a good thing. You, my friend, are one good-looking man. Haven't you guys ever heard of too much of a good thing? Nope. Nope.